The following is a presentation of the Liberty Flames Sports Network from Van Wagner. Live from Mellow Mushroom in the Cornerstone District in Lynchburg, Virginia, the Liberty Flames football show is on the air. Your chance to hear from Liberty head football coach Jamey Chadwell comes your way on the Liberty Flames Sports Network from Van Wagner. The Liberty football show is presented by Freedom First Credit Union. Start banking with Freedom First today. The Liberty Football Show is also brought to you by Carter Bank and Trust, the preferred community bank of Liberty Flames athletics. Earthright Mid-Atlantic, your trusted solar and energy efficiency experts. By Foster Fuels, providing reliable service for 100 years. Freedom Heating and Air, serving those who serve us. Carl Miller Realty, caring, competent, trusted advisors. The North American Mission Board, learn to live your life on mission through a GenSend experience. And by Sentry Exteriors, experience and quality you can trust. Schedule a free estimate at sentryexteriors.com. Have a question or comment for one of our guests? Email lfsn@liberty.edu or post a message at LFSN Radio on X, formerly known as Twitter.
Snap to Bennett, drops back in the pocket, looking to throw. Dancing at the 10, throws near side. It's going to be caught on the near sideline. Fight him up. Touchdown, Liberty. The tight end, Austin Henderson.
Now, let's talk Liberty Flames football. Here's your host, the voice of the Flames, Alan York.
And a good Thursday night, everyone, as we talk Liberty Flames football tonight from Mellow Mushroom. I'm Alan York. Great crowd on hand. Give yourselves a hand. I mean, this place is packed out with Liberty fans wearing their red and navy as the Flames come in 4-0, 2-0 in Conference USA play after a 38-6 win this past Saturday at FIU. No game this week, but next Thursday we start midweek on the mountain as Liberty hosts Sam Houston next Thursday, October 5th at 7 o'clock, and look forward to talking about that game coming up here towards the end of our show. As we do each and every show, we'll recap the previous game. We've got a special guest midway through. That's going to be Carl Miller, one of our key sponsors on our Van Wagner radio network, and look forward to talking to Carl as we give Coach Chadwell a little respite to enjoy some dinner with his family here tonight. I'd like to thank our presenting sponsor, Freedom First Credit Union, for bringing us our show each and every Thursday night here at Mellow Mushroom. So the Flames 4-0. They'll take on a Sam Houston team that is 0-3, and they are in action here tonight along with a couple of other Conference USA teams. Sam Houston hosting Jacksonville State, and that game's on ESPNU, and that'll kick off right when we're off the air here. So we'll get a little sneak peek at Sam Houston coming into Lynchburg next week. That being said, let's bring in our special guest of our show, head coach of the Flames, Jamey Chadwell. Coach, how you doing?
I'm doing well, thank you. How are you?
Good. Always good when you go on the road and get a win, and going down to FIU Miami, it's always fun to go into a place and kind of break the will of the other team, and you guys did that real early in that game. Just your general thoughts of the win, and then we'll kind of dive into some specifics here.
Well, obviously very satisfied with the way we played for the most part. We did come out early. When you ran out of the tunnel there, most of their crowd was still outside, so it's obviously not used to coming out like it is at Williams, and so. But I thought our team was ready to go. We jump up early there and really controlled that game for the most part. Obviously, did what we normally do. Had a little lull there. We got to continue to work through, but to be able to go down there, first time on the road, obviously in a conference, an opponent that was playing well, had a lot of confidence. We really took it to them, especially defensively. I thought we played really well. Handled the humidity, because it got hot there, and I thought we didn't cramp. We didn't do any of those things. No. So what a credit to our strength staff and our athletic training staff, and so you look at all those things, and just a good complete win. I thought we left some things obviously out there, but to be able to do what we did and to come back home with a victory and going into the open week there, 4-0, but most importantly 2-0, give our guys some rest and hopefully some chance to recover from some of the injuries we have and get ready for this midweek on the mountain stretch that's coming up, which is going to be really determine what type of team we have this year.
Coach, you go right down the field, 8 plays, 75 yards. Bentley Hanshaw's now got 3 touchdowns, one of your tight ends. This one, as we called on the radio, probably his most magnificent one-handed grab. He had to battle a defender, had to battle the crossbar, but that was a special catch for Bentley to get you guys off on the right foot there.
It was great. We practiced that play leading up the week, but we didn't practice with that coverage or that guy right on him, and he did. He made a tremendous catch to be able to catch it, but also get his feet in, and not, like you said, not decapitate himself on the crossbar. And then, but Caden, arguably the best throw that he's made. Made a lot of good throws this year, but to be able to lay that in there with the right touch was excellent. And to be able to go up, 7-0 right away, take that crowd out, take their momentum out, was a big drive for us.
That open drive, there was a lot of balance, throw and run. Was that the goal early on to get that balance going there early on there?
I think you're always trying to be balanced. Now, what does balance look like, right? People think it's 50-50. It's never 50-50. But you want to make sure, one, with your first scripted plays, you script plays, 10, 15 plays, whatever it is, what you think gives you the best chance to go score. But also, what do we want to show to see how they're going to play? And every play that was scripted in there was based off of what we'd studied on video, and so we wanted to have a good mix of run and pass. One, you want your quarterback to feel confident right away, so you're trying to find some things for him. And then two, you want that opponent to know, hey, we're going to attack you right here, and you better figure this out. And so we want to see how they adjust to that. And so our coaches do a nice job of that. And
then you had one of, you can correct me, how many 3-and-outs did you have in that game? It started out defensively, 3-and-out, you got the ball back, scored another touchdown with Trayon Sibley. But that defensive effort you talked about, the best one you've had all year, that first defensive series, 3-and-out, you kind of set the tone on that side of the ball.
Yeah, I think anytime you can get a team 3-and-out is tremendous. We did that back-to-back a lot that whole game. We made, that quarterback had not lost a football game since his first year of his junior year. I think overall, his record's 60-1.
Yeah.
And so they were playing with a lot of confidence. We won, and I think our guys, all right, you're doubting that we can come down and challenge you and you stop in, and they made it a mindset. And if you look at that, they had the one drive there where we had a couple busts that they scored in a long drive. Besides that, they did not sustain anything.
No.
And I thought it was the most complete defensive effort. We got after the quarterback. We stopped the run. We made it challenging for them to throw. Every pass was a contested pass or catch. Complete effort, and if we can play defense like that all year long, then offensively we'll just take a nap and we'll be all right to go.
You got Kendi Charles back, one of your captains, defensive lineman, 57, 58 plays. What was the expectation for Kendi? How many plays, or was it a percentage of the game? How many plays did he end up playing? And we'll talk about your players of the week in a little bit, but his total: 5 tackles, a sack, 1.5 tackles for loss, of fumble recovery. So he had a really good debut for you.
No, and it was great to have him back. I think he definitely brought us, he's obviously a great player, but just having his presence, the way he competes, that brought another juice to our defense. We lost Chris Body to an illness.
Yeah.
So, we've not had our full complement of defensive line yet, and so we're excited about that. But there was never a doubt that Kendi could play, and really he was fully cleared. But when you're injured, you sometimes put up mental blocks on your own. And I think for him it was just, okay, can I go out there and cut and be all right? And I think once he got out there, his adrenaline was going. He didn't want to come off the field. And so it was more, though, hey, let's see how he responds. And, he obviously got out there and was playing well, and you could see his confidence and all that play. So I don't know what he ended up – you said how many plays he ended up playing, but we didn't have necessarily a pitch count on him. We just wanted to see how he'd respond, and he obviously did well. Now having the week – to really feel confident about it, hopefully he feels good.
There's a website, profootballfocus.com, and they chart a lot of things in college, and you can subscribe to it, and our communication staff subscribes to him. 57 plays, he played 26, so just about half the game.
Yeah,
so.
a little under half.
Yeah.
So.
He joked after the game with us on the radio that without his brace, Jamey, that he was going to score on that fumble recovery.
You know what? It was he actually showed some nice athleticism there. I thought about might have to move him to fullback on some short yardage because it was he did, and I was very impressed with it, to be honest, because he made a move, he jumped, and I wouldn't doubt it. Wouldn't doubt it at all.
You mentioned moving some big guys, and like a jumbo set. I'm just telling you first, Xavier Gadlin says if you have a jumbo package inside the 5, he wants a piece of that.
Well, he needs to be clearing the way. So we can find somebody else to run it. He needs to be clearing the way.
Good package on the Xavier Gatlin, though. If you haven't checked it out on our social media channels, at Liberty Football, it's on our Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. Our creative team does a great job about Xavier Gatlin, kind of the Renaissance man. He can sing, he can act. There's not much that guy can't do for you.
No, he's very well-rounded, very thoughtful. Loves Liberty, loves his teammates, does what you need to do all the time to get himself ready to go. Just a very caring person in general for lots of things, and got a bright future, football-wise, but also off of it. I would not be surprised if you see him in a theater. I wouldn't be surprised if he's running for political office. Lord knows we all need help with that, and he's just well-rounded.
Talk to us about the Trayon Sibley catch, 68 yards, crossing pattern there at midfield. What were the progressions? And as soon as Trayon caught that, I mean, you talk about just getting out ahead of the defense, man. He was scooting.
Yeah, he surprised all of us. None of us thought he could run that way. I mean, honestly, he got that catch. It was 3rd down and 5, medium, and so we have one of our calls on that is to slants or some quick game stuff. And based off coverages they were getting, and Caden threw, the key to that is you got to throw an accurate football to be able to catch it out front. He did that. Sib made the catch and put one move on that safety, and then he showed his speed, and it was impressive. We've never doubted that he could run, but we've never necessarily seen it like that. And for him to be able to do that and pull away from people was very impressive, and just the energy that it brings. You go up 14 right there. I mean, it was a one, it was awesome to see. As a coach, you're thinking, all right, let's 3rd down, let's convert so we can keep the ball, and then he makes a play. And so he's had a tremendous season. I don't know, where he fits with number of catches and all that. He's probably never going to have the most, but from an impact of catches that he's made in games and what he's done with it, he's got to be up there in the country. His touchdown to catch ratio has to be extremely high because he's made big plays. And they've gone for tons of yardage.
Depth-wise, you got Elijah Smoot, some action in that game. When he gets back healthy, what kind of player is he? And give us an idea kind of health-wise how he's doing.
Yeah, I mean, you saw him in Buffalo and he had a great game. And then we targeted him this game, and we just missed him. We missed a couple deep balls, had some chances to make some plays. But, he gives us another dimension. He is, arguably our best route runner and arguably our best guy at the point of attack when the ball's in the air to be able to just adjust his body. And so he's, first couple games coming on, had the big breakout at Buffalo. And then, as I said, we targeted him last week, just missed him on some things. But he's a guy that when the ball's in there, you feel like he can come down with it, And so as he continues to get better, Sibley continues to get better. C.J. Daniels, playing at a high level. Those guys, what you're seeing is they're finally back healthy. And they're finally getting some rhythm and with Caden, and it took us a while. That was our biggest deal throughout fall camp is we never really had all of them at the same time. And then once we got them back, it's taken us a while to get those guys in football shape and the timing. And so you're seeing us have success doing that, and it's because they're finally back and we're understanding as coaches where to put them and how to use them.
Errol Rogers, did he make an appearance though too? I got him confused.
Yeah, that's what I say. Yeah, I think it's Errol. Errol's been hurt. Errol got here in the spring. High hopes, hurt his hamstring. Worked all summer, had a tremendous summer. 4 days into camp, hurt his hamstring. Missed basically all of fall camp. The last 3 weeks, it's been training hard to try to come back and be 100%. And he's close to do that. So he did travel. He got in, got some playing time, which was good. Now he's got an extra week here. So I think you'll see him obviously playing more. He'll be behind Sibley there at that slot as he continues to get back healthy. But he's definitely another guy that can add some that has ability, but also can give us an opportunity to make some plays for us. And excited about seeing him back healthy because he has worked hard to put himself in a position to help.
Jamey, you rushed for 364 in that game against FIU. You had 2 go over 100. Quentin Cooley had 102. Billy Lucas had 102. Man, when that offensive line is just pushing that D-line down the field, those two guys are really fun to watch when they get the ball in their hands.
They are. They're physical. They run through tackles, but then they have enough quickness to make guys miss as well. And anytime, you can rush for that amount of yardage, obviously the credit goes up front to the O-line, the tight ends. They did a fantastic job of being physical. But those guys, their yards after contact, if you look at the rushing, the yards after contact, I think they had, out of those both hundreds, I think there's like 70-plus were yards after contact where they had somebody and they made somebody miss. And so they're really good at what they do from that standpoint. But like you said, anytime you can rush for that, you can control the line of scrimmage. That opens up a lot. Our passing statistics, weren't near what they were the week before, but they didn't have to be because you were handing the ball off and averaging 7-8 yards a rush. And so, as a coach, you start, all right, hey, let's that other team get back in the game, or throwing picks or something of that nature. So we were able to control that. And so it was good to see when you needed it, when you needed to be able to run the ball and everybody knew it, you could still do it.
Caden Salter, once again, the Conference USA Offensive Player of the Week, 11 for 21, 156 yards passing, a couple of touchdown throws. We talked about those. He also added 77 yards on the ground and a couple of scores as well. So to get that award 2 weeks in a row, I mean, he continues just to get the game plan, study it, and really execute it on Saturdays.
Yeah, he's playing well. Obviously, he's a true dual threat. He breaks down. We don't have a lot of called runs for him. We're trying not to obviously get him hit much, but when we do, he's able to make plays. And then when he's in the pocket and something breaks down, he's able to get out of it and make some good plays there. He did take a big hit, and fumble there, which I told him, you gotta always take care of that football. But he is playing well. I think there's a lot of improvement he can make from last week to going forward. He'll tell you there's some things he missed that if he comes back, he's probably over 100 yards rushing and throwing over 200 something yards passing. And so the exciting thing I think for us is I was telling somebody today, his growth from the spring till now has been exponential, but he's still got so much more to go. And when his maturation at the quarterback position ends up matching his God-given talent, watch out, because he can continue to grow and he can help our offense continue to be better and better. And so we're excited about that, because he's made so many strides and he's still got a ways to go too.
Jamey, one moment I want to ask you about was the second half. There was a sideline penalty on Elijah Smoot, and you came over and put your arms around him. Share what you want to. This is PG. I'm just kidding. No,
yeah.
I was looking down at something, looked up, and all of a sudden I saw the flag out. And I'm like, I didn't really see what happened in the play. I didn't think anything happened on the field. So what did you see? Were you right there at it?
I was right there. I wasn't far behind him. And so, on any field, you've got the out of bounds line, and then you've got another line that your coaches are supposed to be behind, and then you got another line that your players are supposed to be behind.
Right.
And you have coaches assigned to make sure everybody stays back. Your get back coach, what you call them, And so I'm down. Defense is down there, so I typically, when the defense, I try to get on the far end so I can watch more and see what's going on. Well, Elijah's back there, sort of, not with me per se, but he's back there, and he's out in that wide area. He's not on the field, but he's in the wide area where if an official was watching a play, that's where he runs. Okay. And, he's not obviously supposed to be in that area. He was watching the game, and, you don't think you see the ball. And you're watching the ball, and then he collides with the referee, and unfortunate, that happened, but it's a great learning experience for it. Not something he was trying to do, and but also, I told him, hey, the whole conversation, basically sitting around, listen, I know you didn't mean to do it, but you did it. So whatever your intentions were, it didn't matter because it did happen. We own up to it. We fix it. I'm not yelling at you, but we know we can't give up those free 15 yards, vice versa. In a tighter game, that would have made a big deal, right?
Big time.
And so, it's a great learning experience for him and for our team, and then also obviously our get back people. Hey, we got to always watch it, and because when you're up, I think at that time he's up 30-something points. You feel like everything does matter, and another learning point for our team.
We're getting started here tonight, our weekly Liberty football show with head coach Jamey Chadwell, presented by Freedom First Credit Union. We'll take our first time out on the show here, and we'll have more with Coach here from Mellow Mushroom in Lynchburg. This is Liberty football from Van Wagner.
Isn't that Freedom First has been in business since 1956? What's important is how we've been doing business since 1956. Since day one, we have been accountable to our members, not stockholders. We make loans that cost less, offer savings plans that pay more, and give back to our community, and that hasn't changed. What has changed is our ability to serve you with more locations and more technology to simplify your financial life. Freedom First. It's a place where anyone in our region can bank for good.
Everybody says they want to do it, but how many people ever really change the world? GenSend shows students just like you how to live life on mission. GenSend offers real-life ministry opportunities in cities all across North America. Work alongside believers who are really changing the world. Spend your school break on mission and learn how to be a champion for Christ. Go to gensend.org to learn more.
You're listening to the Liberty Flames Football Show, presented by Freedom First Credit Union on the Liberty Flames Sports Network from Van Wagner.
Turn up the heat. Foster Fuels is a proud partner of Liberty Athletics. Fostering warm moments for 100 years, Foster has been providing exceptional propane and gas services throughout Central Virginia and surrounding areas. From propane to fireplaces and tank installs to tankless water heaters, Foster does it all. Visit fosterfuels.com or download the app to order fuel, pay your bill, and more. Get the customer service you deserve and turn up the heat with Foster Fuels and the Liberty Flames.
Earthlight Mid-Atlantic, your trusted solar and energy efficiency experts. With a focus on honesty, education, and excellence, they light the way to savings, home comfort, and a greener future. Educating homeowners about the power of solar and energy efficiency is their winning game plan. Give Earthlight Mid-Atlantic a call today at 434-200-9716 or visit erepower.com.
Welcome back to the Liberty Flames Football Show, presented by Freedom First Credit Union on the Liberty Flames Sports Network from Van Wagner. Have a question or comment for one of our guests? Email lfsn@liberty.edu or post a message at LFSN Radio on X, formerly known as Twitter. Now, once again, here's the voice of the Flames, Alan York.
And right back on this Thursday night from Mellow Mushroom here in Lynchburg, talking Liberty football with the head coach, Jamey Chadwell. Each show presented by Freedom First Credit Union. We are recapping Liberty's 38-6 win at FIU this past Saturday. Liberty now 4-0 overall, 2-0 in Conference USA play, back in action at home, 7 o'clock next Thursday, October 5th, against Sam Houston. The Bearcats 0-3 as they play tonight against Jacksonville State. How much of that game you can watch here tonight, Jamey, you think?
Probably not much.
Yeah.
I mean, I might glance at it, but you get home, try to get the kids ready for bed and some of those things, and the last thing the wife wants to do is watch a game. So,
oh, happy wife, happy life, as they say, you know. But again, your team 4-0, impressive win. Haven't talked much about the defensive effort, but you said post game it was the most start to finish, the most complete game defensively. Kind of dive into some of those numbers, what you saw on the tape when you watched it back.
Well, I think, from a standpoint, the thing that we talked a lot about going into that game was, can we hold them under a certain number of yards? Can we make it a one-dimensional game, right? Can we make that quarterback beat us where they were good? He was throwing the ball well, but they were getting explosive runs. And if you look at the rush yards that we gave up, if you also look at the yards per rush they had, I think it was like 2 point something. We dominated the line of scrimmage. And, Achilles heel or whatever you want to say, the first three games, we hadn't done great. First two specifically hadn't done great against the rush.
Yep.
And so, Buffalo we did better, but we still gave up a lot of just yardage and movement. This was the first one where we stopped the run, and then we were able to get after the quarterback and affect him, cause turnovers, make him throw incompletion wise, and we sustained it. We've had good starts. We've had some maybe not as good starts, but we found a way to do it. But for 4 quarters, we were pretty dang good. They had the one drive, that they really didn't get close the rest of the game, And if we can play with that type of effort and that type of intensity, that doesn't mean we're going to hold everybody to 6 points. But we had a lot of people play, we had a lot of people contribute, but they played hard and played within what we were asking them to do. This was our least amount of missed assignments that we've had since we started.
Jamey had 5 sacks, 11 tackles for loss. C.J. Bazell, that sack he had, it rattled my bones up in the radio booth. That was a textbook. I mean, he looked like Lawrence Taylor coming off the edge there and just those are the type of sacks you dream about as a defensive guy.
Yeah, and he's from there.
That's right.
Obviously, so it's a homecoming for him, and I know it meant a lot to him and his family. And he hadn't played much up prior to this year, but he's every game he's gotten better and doing a nice job for us and giving us if we can get pressure from him and some of those other guys, that allows our defensive secondary, who we all know we feel is pretty good, allows them to be able to cover and put those quarterbacks where they have to maybe throw that ball a little bit earlier, and our guys have a chance to make a play on it.
FIU's quarterback, Kewan Jenkins, southpaw, he's a lefty. Does the ball come out differently from left-handed quarterbacks, and defensively does that not deter the defense, but how is it different being a lefty quarterback in the backfield?
Well, one, the spin's different, obviously. It spins different. So, I mean, from a catching standpoint, you don't catch a lot versus a left-handed quarterback. So the ball's a little different rotation, not that big of a deal. I think the biggest challenge is the blind side, right? Typically with right-handed quarterback, you're always you want his the left tackle was your guy. Well, it's different for a lefty, right? Yep. It's the right tackle from that standpoint, and so you're trying to you want to try to bring more pressure a little bit from that side. So that's the difference how a game plan wise.
Okay.
Secondly, typically when you flush somebody, you want to flush them away from their throwing hand if you do, right?
Yep.
And so for a right guy, you're trying to make him go left. For a left-handed guy, that's a little bit different. If you're going to bring pressure, if you're trying to flush him, flush him to the opposite side. So there's a little bit change-ups from some of those things. He's a good player. He's going to be a good player. The biggest thing we want to do is make him beat us from the pocket because he is a little smaller. I think he's 5'10", and so we wanted to try to throw over those guys instead of being able to make it happen.
Special teams-wise, Braden Beck got some kickoffs last week, and now we made the comment that, FIU had 3 specialists for field goal, kickoff, and punt. Do you see that moving forward, how it could be at least for the interim?
It might be. Obviously, the first 2 kickoffs, we were trying to give souvenirs to the fans there in our first 2 kickoffs. And so I think, Max, last week during practice and leading up to that just wasn't himself. He had some things going on, off the field that he allowed to affect him on it. And after we saw that, I just said, hey, man, you need to break from kicking off. We obviously trust Braden. Braden does a nice job kicking off, and we practiced that. And so it was one of those where Max, to his credit, said, Coach, I don't have my best. Let's do that. And we put Braden in. He had some touchbacks, did a nice job there. And so, if that's the route we end up going, that'd be fine. Obviously, Max was the starter for a reason, and if Max is kicking the way he's capable, then he'll be the guy. But it's good to know that Braden can come in and, we don't miss a beat.
Let's talk about your players of the week that were announced earlier this week after the FIU game. We'll start with wide receiver Eddie Ogle.
Yeah, Eddie was our special teams, player of the week, and from a production standpoint, when we do special teams, we get the number of plays they played. I think Eddie played 20 plays on special teams. I think that was a number, might have been here or there, and you get production points for those. And he led our team in production. He did a fantastic job of covering on our kickoff team and our pride team. He calls some fair catches, and just in everything he's on, he plays hard. He does what he's supposed to do, and he causes happen. We call Eddie the Eagle.
The Eagle,
Eddie the Eagle. He's obviously a local product here, does a tremendous job, and every week he's done a fantastic job. First week didn't play on the special teams, and he just kept working. We put him in there, and for the last 3 games, he's done a tremendous job, and very proud of him and excited for him.
I want to talk about covering kickoffs for a minute, Jamey, and Joseph Carter does such a tremendous job. Again, it takes all 11 guys, but he, from a special teams tackle standpoint, has the most. Reminds me of a guy that used to play here, Elijah Benton. He was like a special teams guru like 5, 6, 7 years ago. He was making all the tackles. To have that focus and to get down the field and dodge blocks from a kickoff team perspective, what type of determinations that take, like a guy like Joseph Carter?
Well, it takes a lot of heart. We call our kickoff team heart for a reason, and you've got to be able to sacrifice, your body, and sometimes give it up. But also you have to have a great understanding of what people are doing, and he has a great knack for knowing. All right, they're trying to take the return this way, even though the ball's over here. They're trying to take it here, and he knows how to avoid blocks and slip, and he just has a great knack for that. And when you do that, you can obviously make a lot of plays. He plays hard, he's physical, but he has just an unbelievable knack for recognizing schemes. And then when he's down there, get you down, or he's going to cause some havoc, and he's done that every week, and very proud of him.
Coach, we talked about Kendi Charles, defensive lineman, last segment. Again, Kendi, 26 of 57 plays. He played in 5 tackles, 1 sack, 1.5 tackles for loss, and a forced fumble. Your third and final player of the week, Billy Lucas, 11 carries, 102 yards, and 1 score. So what'd you see from Billy on Saturday?
Yeah, I mean, when you rush for obviously that amount of yardage, there's a lot of people that have an opportunity to be that player of the week. But what Billy set Billy off is obviously he had the touchdown, he had the yardage, but it was the yards after contact. It was the runs that he made. It was the people that he made miss. I mean, he made a lot of people miss, or he run through some tackles, and just the way he ran. Last 2 weeks prior, he was playing at Buffalo, had the fumble where it was a fumble, but the play stood. They're really frustrated, and didn't really finish the game out the way he wanted to. And he came back with a great mentality and a mindset, and for him to be able to come out and play the way he did and just really run the way he did was tremendous to see.
So, Jamey, you come back 4-0, 2-0 in Conference USA play. Again, you don't play again until next Thursday. Take us through the week that it was, how unique it was to prepare during the open date to get ready for next Thursday, and kind of what practices looked like.
Well, you're really, because we play Thursday and Tuesday, you're really preparing for 2 teams. Okay. You're trying to get a jump start on Jacksonville State, who we play the following Tuesday on a short turnaround, and obviously you're trying to get ready for Sam Houston as well, and then also you're trying to get your team healthy. So there's a little fine line there, and so what we did is we really couple really light days just to clean up a big fundamental days where it was just heavy fundamentals, didn't hit each other, just did some basic things there to really work fundamental football. Then the last 2 days and going into tomorrow was all into Sam Houston and preparing for them, because we do play on a Thursday. Normally, when you have an open date, you play next Saturday,
right? And
so we do get 2 days less, and so we have to make sure that we're preparing for them. So we and also to use the extra time you have to get ready to play for them, because regardless of their record, they won a national championship in 2020. Right. They've played, their defense is one of the tops in the country, and they played some really good offensive teams, and so. They're good at what they do, so we have to be ready for them. And so that's what our last, since Wednesday, our focus has been, and we'll do that again tomorrow. And then when we get back at it, we'll do it again and hopefully have some time to get our guys mentally refreshed and also physically refreshed.
You came from the Sun Belt, and they played midweek games a lot the last few years. How long did it take you and your staff to get comfortable with the midweek games, or do you ever really, when it comes to the length of a season?
Well, this will be the first time really that it's like a whole month.
Yeah.
There was a time we played one time a Wednesday and a Thursday, back to back, but we had like an open date lead up to it, and then you went back to a normal Saturday, right? And so this will be the first time that you have 4 really straight for that whole month, which I'm excited about because we're on TV. It gives the opportunity for our brand to be out, which is awesome. But it is chance, so you really have to. How do your game days turn into Saturday, so your next day is a Sunday. So if we're playing on a Tuesday, we got to treat Wednesday like a Sunday. Obviously, there's school. There's a lot of different things. And so you got to try what's the best way to keep your players in a routine. Coaches want to be in a routine as well. And anytime you're out of the routine, we're all routine-based. Practice-wise, what time you practice, and everything is always scheduled out. This changes that. And so I think the teams that adjust to that the best, and practicing at different times and, and having shorter times to recover. There's a lot that goes into that, and we have to do a good job of getting our players to understand why we're doing it, and this is just how it has to be for these next 4 weeks, and I don't know if there's a roadmap. And hopefully we'll come out of it 4-0, and everybody will say, hey, whatever your roadmap is, but that's what we're trying to do. But I'm excited about it because national TV, and that's a big deal.
Big time. Jamey, we're going to give you a little respite here for a couple of minutes, and when we come back, we'll be welcomed by proud Van Wagner radio sponsor Carl Miller with the Carl Miller Realty team, and look forward to hearing from Carl coming up here in 2 minutes. You're listening to the Jamey Chadwell Show, brought to you by Freedom First Credit Union on the Liberty Flames Sports Network from Van Wagner.
Full of plans, promise. At Carter Bank and Trust, we believe in a life lived full of plans, promise, and continuous growth. It's why our checking and savings accounts make it easy for you to earn high interest on your balance, so your money grows faster, all backed with the digital banking tools you need, so there's nothing holding you back from living life to the fullest. Open your new Carter Bank checking or savings account online in minutes at cbtcares.org or visit your local branch. We are Carter Bank, the preferred community bank of Liberty Athletics, member FDIC.
Curious about the Central Virginia housing market? Carl Miller Realty are your caring, competent, trusted advisors for real estate sales in Central Virginia. With over 100 years of combined experience, they are committed to helping clients make informed housing decisions. For a winning game plan and to discover the value of your home, visit carlmillerrealty.com to make your next move a slam dunk.
You're listening to the Liberty Flames Football Show, presented by Freedom First Credit Union on the Liberty Flames Sports Network from Van Wagner.
Clearly, this summer is like so many in the past, really hot. Freedom Heating and Air wants to make sure your home is the cool and relaxing retreat it can be. Freedom Heating and Air offers same-day service appointments in and around Lynchburg, Rustburg, Amherst, and Smith Mountain Lake. And they'll work on your cooling issues even if you've never used them before. Is your air conditioning system aging? Is your cooling system just not getting the job done? See what the dedicated, experienced team at Freedom Heating and Air can do for you. Call them at 434-331-3690.
Century Exteriors offers exterior home renovations, including but not limited to gutters, roofing, siding, home additions, and much more. Century Exteriors makes the process seamless. Call 434-239-6722 for a free on-site estimate or visit centuryexteriors.com and Century Exteriors on Facebook and Instagram. Century Exteriors is a proud supporter of Liberty Flames Athletics.
Welcome back to the Liberty Flames Football Show, presented by Freedom First Credit Union on the Liberty Flames Sports Network from Van Wagner. Have a question or comment for one of our guests? Email lfsn@liberty.edu or post a message at LFSN Radio on X, formerly known as Twitter. Now, once again, here's the voice of the Flames, Alan York.
All right, back at Mellow Mushroom tonight on this Thursday night, talking Liberty Flames football. The Flames 4-0, 2-0 in Conference USA play. Open this week, so enjoy your weekend with no football. And right after that, midweek on the mountain starts on October 5th. That's a Thursday night. And then Liberty will alternate home and away games in the month of October. The only Thursday game against Sam Houston, 7 o'clock next Thursday, 1 week from tonight. Then the Flames will be at Jacksonville State on October 10th. Our next radio show, if you're just wondering, or really wondering, it's not next week, October 12th. We will be here October 12th to recap Sam Houston and Jacksonville State. And then it's Middle Tennessee State here at home on the 17th, and then at Western Kentucky on the 24th. And then we get back to regularly scheduled programming November 4th on your favorite Van Wagner radio station. It is our pleasure now to be, and this guy, if y'all don't know Carl Miller, he might take my job. He's got a great radio show in town, and look forward to bringing Carl Miller on the show here with his realty background and experience. Carl, good to have you on the show. Thanks for coming on.
Hey, thank you, Alan. It's good to be here.
Now, the headset is nothing new to you. How long have you had your show?
The radio show, we have the Carl Miller Show. It airs Saturday mornings at 10 o'clock on WLNI. A little over 2 years now. Okay.
And you have a great team. I was on your show a couple of weeks ago. The radio show, take us through that and what you enjoy about that medium.
Yeah.
And then we'll kind of dive into your team and we'll talk real estate.
Yeah, I was kind of frustrated with the fact that the news, whenever it comes to real estate or the housing market, it's always a national number.
Got it.
And all real estate is local.
Okay.
So a national number come out, people react to it, but the reality is what happens nationally. It's like saying you're going to Nashville this weekend and you ask me what's the temperature like in Nashville this weekend, and I tell you, well, in October the national average is 72 degrees. No, I want to know what the temperature is in Nashville.
Right.
So I wanted to bring a local perspective of what's really going on in the real estate market, and then also just bring some perspective and be a value add. Like, our whole goal is to add value to our clients and to the marketplace and to the community of Lynchburg. I mean, Lynchburg truly is a great place to live, work, and play, as we know.
Yeah, Carl, for those that want to hear the show, how can they access it coming up?
Yeah, so we put all our shows up on our podcast, which is The Carl Miller Show, so any of your favorite podcast platforms, but it airs live 105.9, 10 o'clock on Saturdays, replays, I believe, 11 o'clock on Sundays as well.
Okay,
Yeah.
all right. Joined by Carl Miller with the Carl Miller Realty team. I want us to talk first about your business, Carl, and Liberty Athletics and the partnership that has been fused the last few years. From our perspective, we appreciate the radio support that you have, and even texting us during the games that you're tuning in. Like last week, you were like, hey, I think there's some issues going on with the TV broadcast, so I'm tuning into AY and JP. So that was kind of cool.
To be clear, the issues were that the broadcasters were a little flat.
Got it.
Whereas the Alan York show, was, there was some energy and some home team pride going on.
It's 2023, and for those of you that aren't syncing your audio with the video, we can teach you how to do that.
Oh, I mean, it was easy.
Now today it's easy for fans to maybe get disgruntled if Matt Warner and Joe Yock aren't on the TV call, which, they're great, but sometimes when we go out of town, sync us up on the video. That's what I say to them. But, joining forces with Liberty and the strength that brand has and your brand in the community, give us a deep dive on the relationship and kind of what you're doing with it right now.
Yeah, so we had done an internal study of our top clients and who's an ideal client for us. And we went back to the last 10 years of our clients and started putting names to who they were and then what are the characteristics that were common threads. And probably for 70 to 80% of those just A-plus clients, there was a Liberty University affiliation. So either it was an alumni, or it was a staff member, or it was a student's uncle who found Lynchburg through visiting Liberty University, and they're retiring and coming into this amazing part of the country where there's 4 seasons and affordable housing.
Right.
And just some of the greatest people that we love to work with. They were generous, they were teachable, they had assets, and they loved working with us. They were values-based. And so we just started looking at, wow, Liberty University is a common thread here. And it just made sense to align and be a support of the athletics department. And again, we love the platform. We love aligning with a winning culture. We love the values that Liberty University brings to this area. And we just thought it would be a good alignment because we strive to be caring, competent, trusted advisors and also have a winning culture. And as a leader of the team, it just kind of made sense to do that.
Carl, you lead me into my next point, the tagline, caring, competent, trusted advisors. I think when you meet people, can you trust them immediately? Yep. And when we meet you and your team immediately, that's one of the first things, trait and characteristic that I feel talking to your team. Mm-hmm. Take us into that tagline. And how many did you think about before making that one public?
So full disclosure, it's kind of a ripoff of what Jim Rohn teaches. Because, he says when you do business with somebody, they basically have 3 questions. Can I trust you?
Yeah.
Are you good at what you do? And do you care?
Right.
And so it's very basic business. But at the end of the day, you can have a good business with 2 of those 3. But if you have all 3 of those, then you're set up to build a referral-based business. People will then start to be your advocate as well. And that's really the heartbeat of our business. It seems like no matter how much dollars we throw into the marketplace in marketing, it just consistently every year, 75 to 80% of our business comes from referrals. And so we strive to, if I could say one thing that differentiates us is we've always viewed our clients as long-term relationships as opposed to transactions.
Right.
So, it's really easy sometimes to just get in a transactional mindset for business owners, but the reality is we've always just viewed our clients as a long-term relationship because they have family, friends, and coworkers who every 9 years, according to the stats, are going to be moving. And we want to be the person that they refer to when that happens.
Joined by Carl Miller. That's Carl with a K, Carl Miller Realty Team. And next up, Carl, let's talk about some market stats and median sales prices in Lynchburg versus Virginia and versus the United States. And then kind of dive into some numbers there.
Yeah, so like I said, Lynchburg truly is a great place to live, work, and play. And sometimes the people that forget that the most of the people that live here. And Alan, you're on the road a lot. You travel to different cities, and you start asking what the price of living is in other metro areas. Lynchburg is just incredibly affordable. I know it's expensive. I know it's going up a lot. I know rents have gone up. I'm not saying that it's cheap, but okay, so in Lynchburg right now, the median sales price in Lynchburg and three touching counties, it's $285 for a single family home. And you compare that to the state, which is right at $400,000.
Yeah.
So we're well below the state average. And then if you compare that to the national average at $410,000, $415 actually in May, that's almost about a 30% less cost of living to be here in Lynchburg. And so it truly has a lot of upside potential yet. And we're in a global economy now, and with remote work and work from home options, the money's going to flow to where the affordability is.
Carl, when folks are looking at real estate websites to see homes and things in the market, outside of the price, are they looking at how many days has it been on the market to tell if it's and is that a good gauge on whether or not they should follow what they might see and they like as far as pictures and things like that?
Yeah, well, every buyer buys when three things line up. It always boils down to they're comfortable with the location, so the right location. Number two, the right architectural style and condition. And the third thing is price. I mean, those three, that's the fundamentals of home buying choices. Right location, right home, right price. So days on market, we've been in a very, very fast-paced market, and right now the days on market for the media. So you've heard some national stories about how things are slowing down, this, that, and the other. Well, for the homes that are selling here in Lynchburg, the median days on market is 10. And you compare that to 2017, 2018 when it was 60, 75 days. It's still a very, very fast-moving market. And so, the median days on market right now is 10. But back to your point, if you're a buyer and you're seeing a home on the market, it's been on the market 30 days or more, there's a chance you probably have, well, first of all, you're not going to be competing with 10 other offers like you might in the first 2 days. And then secondly, there might be some negotiating room. You might be able to get the price down a little bit. You might be able to get closing costs covered. And you certainly would have a little bit of leverage with negotiating out repairs. Some of the new houses that come on the market, especially if it's under $300,000, very high demand. Multiple offers are still a thing. We listed a house last week, and it was over in Forest, and it was a nice little ranch on a crawl space for $250,000. We had 14 offers on that house on day 3.
Nice.
And it sold, of course, well above list price. So make no mistake, the market is still very, very active.
How do you work with, you have your customers, they're ready to buy, you decide on a price, buying or selling, and then it comes to mortgage lending and things like that.
Sure.
How do you work in that with some great mortgage lenders and financial institutions here in the area? Yeah,
so there's a lot of great financial lenders in this market, and just some really high-quality loan officers. I'm really big, and this what I'm about to say sounds flippant, so I don't mean it to be that way, but really the only time it matters if you're taking out a mortgage, that what you pay for a house is the day you buy it and the day you sell it. We live in the payment. And so I'm really, really big about making sure that the buyers know what their payment is, because when the first of the month comes around and you're paying that mortgage, it's not, I paid $395,000 for my house. No, my payment this month is $1,800 or whatever it is.
Right.
So it's really, really critical that our buyers make an informed decision. We want to always guide our clients in such a way so that there's no regrets and we are so happy this is home and not, oh my gosh, why did we buy this place, in 2 months when those payments are coming in.
And how about opportunities, for buyers, first-time buyers, move-up buyers, investors? What advice do you have for those?
Oh, yeah. So I would say this. Lynchburg is a great place to buy a home. Again, the median sales price is well below what the national average is. So if a buyer can afford right now, especially with the rates going up so much with rentals, it's a real good opportunity for first-time buyers to buy. There's also good opportunities for investors. Investors can cash flow in Lynchburg, Virginia. And there's a number of homes that come up, and they make sense numbers-wise. If you put 25% down, tenants are paying the rent, and you can write off the depreciation and the interest, and it just makes a lot of sense to be an investor. And so and then also the move-up buyers have some opportunities right now too, because most move-up buyers, get married, kid or two comes along, maybe a pet or two comes along, the house is too small. And yes, interest rates are higher right now, so it is going to cost more to upsize. But the reality is that the equity position has gained so much for starter homes. I mean, it's really insane how much those homes have appreciated. So a lot of those buyers that are moving up, they're selling their first house, they're able to gain 5, 10, even 15% more for their sale in equity than they might realize that they might might have. So
wrapping things up, the Carl Miller Realty team, special guest on our Jamey Chadwell radio show, brought to you by Freedom First Credit Union. Final few thoughts here, Carl. Just talk about your team a minute.
Yeah.
You're fully staffed.
Sure.
And, you know, you mentioned earlier you're not just transactional type of relationships, but you build relationships from the ground up with your customers, and your staff just does a great job for your team.
Man, they do. My staff make me look good every day, probably way better than I actually am. But we have Erin in our office. She's been with me for over 6 years. She's our operations officer. She's amazing. She oversees everything in the office, oversees our contracts, handles the commission checks in and out, and then just kind of trains and helps with the rest of our staff. We have a full-time receptionist who's just a customer client care specialist. She also is a transaction coordinator, Mary. We have a full-time marketing director, Yancey, who's the co-host of the Carl Miller Show.
Yeah.
She's fantastic. And honestly, we just have a really, really good team. And that's what I love about hearing Coach Jamey talk about teamwork, because we have a team too. And I don't have a football team that's in the spotlight every single play. That's a high-pressure job. But at the same time, when you're dealing with real estate, you got to understand there's always emotion behind that transaction. Most people, when they move, there's another life event going on in their life. And a lot of real estate agents don't understand that there's, an illness, or there's an exciting life event, or a new job, or a death, or a divorce sometimes. So there's always, almost the majority of the time, there's another major life event going on in their life. And our staff really are good at coming alongside of them, meeting those emotional needs outside of the transaction, understanding, what's going on, and making sure we meet those emotional needs. That's what we try to do. And it's a lot of fun. And my staff are amazing. And then we have a full team of agents. Shane's here with us tonight. He's one of our specialists on the agency. We have kind of an internal team. I'm only one person. I can be one place at one time. And all the buyers, I'm now delegating out to the team. I still work with sellers, but my role's changed a little bit too as a broker and leader of the company. All
right, wrapping things up here, Carl. Social media, website, contact info for those fans listening, watching tonight on Facebook.
Yeah.
How do they reach out to you?
CarlMillerRealty.com. You can just find us on social at Carl Miller Realty, and check out the Carl Miller Show as well.
Hey, can't wait. Carl, so thankful for you tuning in and coming on the show here tonight. You're welcome anytime you want to stop by, okay?
And thank you for the opportunity. And it was good to have you on our radio show a few weeks ago, too, talking about some Liberty football.
Scratch my back, I'll scratch yours, my man. That's Carl Miller with the Carl Miller Realty team. So thankful for his support on the radio network with Van Wagner, and tip of the cap to Carl and his team. All right, we're going to take a timeout. When we come back, we'll be rejoined by Liberty head football coach Jamey Chadwell. We'll get a take or two on Sam Houston, and we will say goodnight from Mellow Mushroom. But a couple more minutes with the head coach of the Flames, Jamey Chadwell, as our Liberty football show presented by Freedom First Credit Union continues after this timeout on the Liberty Flames Sports Network from Van Wagner.
What's important isn't that Freedom First has been in business since 1956. What's important is how we've been doing business since 1956. Since day one, we have been accountable to our members, not stockholders. We make loans that cost less, offer savings plans that pay more, and give back to our community, and that hasn't changed. What has changed is our ability to serve you with more locations and more technology to simplify your financial life. Freedom First. It's a place where anyone in our region can bank for good.
Everybody says they want to do it, but how many people ever really change the world? GenSend shows students just like you how to live life on mission. GenSend offers real-life ministry opportunities in cities all across North America. Work alongside believers who are really changing the world. Spend your school break on mission and learn how to be a champion for Christ. Go to gensend.org to learn more.
You're listening to the Liberty Flames Football Show, presented by Freedom First Credit Union on the Liberty Flames Sports Network from Van Wagner.
Turn up the heat. Foster Fuels is a proud partner of Liberty Athletics. Fostering warm moments for 100 years, Foster has been providing exceptional propane and gas services throughout Central Virginia and surrounding areas. From propane to fireplaces and tank installs to tankless water heaters, Foster does it all. Visit fosterfuels.com or download the app to order fuel, pay your bill, and more. Get the customer service you deserve and turn up the heat with Foster Fuels and the Liberty Flames.
Earthlight Mid-Atlantic, your trusted solar and energy efficiency experts. With a focus on honesty, education, and excellence, they light the way to savings, home comfort, and a greener future. Educating homeowners about the power of solar and energy efficiency is their winning game plan. Give Earthlight Mid-Atlantic a call today at 434-200-9716 or visit erepower.com.
Welcome back to the Liberty Flames Football Show presented by Freedom First Credit Union on the Liberty Flames Sports Network from Van Wagner. Have a question or comment for one of our guests? Email lfsn@liberty.edu or post a message at LFSN Radio on X, formerly known as Twitter. Now, once again, here's the voice of the Flames, Alan York.
Final few minutes of our weekly Liberty Football Show presented by Freedom First Credit Union with head coach Jamey Chadwell. My name is Alan York. No game on Saturday. We'll be back in action. Midweek on the Mountain starts October 5th against Sam Houston. For those that kind of like a history with numbers and things like that, a couple things to keep in mind. Liberty now is 4-0, and for the first time in program history, they've opened the season winning each of its first 4 games by double digits. That's never happened. And they continue to play well here in 2023. And for those really that like history and kind of lean on things to be like at the water cooler, hey, did you know this? The last 6 Conference USA champions have started conference play 2-0 or better, and that's where Liberty is right now on the front end of what we hope is some history coming up in December. And no pressure, Jamey, as we bring you back in the show here today, but a couple of neat things just on the start as your team's 4-0 and playing some good football.
Yeah, we are. I'm obviously pleased to be undefeated. I know, and our staff knows that, and our team does as well. That there's a lot of room of improvement. That we don't feel like we've played our best complete game,
right.
And so that's what you're seeking. I mean, obviously you want the wins to come, but you're really about can we play our best game all 3 phases, and so. But I'm pleased where we're at. We know that these challenges coming up, especially these next 4 games, are really going to. We told the team that September's for pretenders and October's for contenders.
Boom.
And so we're going to decide. We get a chance to decide if we're going to be a contender or not for this Conference USA Championship over these next 4 weeks. How we play and how we can handle short weeks and all the different things. It's going to be challenging, but hopefully our team will rise to the occasion.
Sam Houston plays Jacksonville State tonight as they are in Conference USA play. There's another Conference USA game. There's a couple. There's one tonight. There's another one right now. No score. Middle Tennessee at WKU midway through the first quarter. And tomorrow, Louisiana Tech is at UTEP for a 9 o'clock kickoff. Just a quick take on Sam Houston, Coach, and then we'll get you out of here tonight.
Well, obviously, you look at the record, they're 0-3. Obviously, their first conference game tonight. This will be really the first team they've played that probably has similar talent to them. They played at Houston, they played at BYU, who obviously are Power 5 schools, and then the Air Force, even though Air Force is a G5 team. Air Force has had a lot of success over the last few years, and the coach has been there forever, so they have their deal. They have played really well defensively all 3 games. They've struggled offensively,
right.
and hopefully if they come here they'll still do that. I think they're finding their way there. No matter what your system is, your quarterback has to play well for it to go, and I think their quarterback's has some inconsistencies. But tonight, as I said, tonight will be their first time playing against somebody that's I would view as similar talent level. So it'll be interesting to see what happens tonight and how that works out. But the thing that I know about them, and I know about their coach, he's a national champion. They've won a lot of football games, and they're not going to panic. They know they made the move for a reason, and so no matter who we play, we're always playing against Liberty, and it's always against our mindset. And so that's been our focus, and it's hard to get young people not to look at records and all those things, but we can control a lot of things if we'll handle our business, and so that's our message.
Yeah, you did mention Sam Houston, where Liberty got the waiver in 2017 to move up to FBS. This is the first year for Sam Houston as an FBS program. So good luck to them as they move on, but not so much next Thursday night. Thursday night, Coach, let's just end it right there. I don't know what it is about midweek games. It just brings out the best in fans. It's just something about it's different. It's going to be under the lights, a lot of attention on this particular game, and all these in October, home or away. But some of that midweek games fans just go bananas for those.
They do, especially, your Thursday, because you're thinking, hey, long weekend, right?
Yeah.
You're thinking, and if you do well, you're excited about going into the weekend. And, for a coach, if you're playing one of those games and there's a TV, your own TV, you got a chance to your brand and who you are, what you're trying to do. You have a chance to let everybody see that, let recruits see that. And if you can go play well, man, it can really build momentum in your program and what you're trying to do. And so I know our guys are going to enjoy that because, we've been on TV now, I think out of the 4 games, I think we've been on 3 out of 4 as far as some type of national platform, right, which has been great. And that just allows our guys to showcase their skills. It allows our university to showcase what we're about, training, obviously, champions for Christ. And then, our brand of who we want to be football-wise, the way we play. And so now we just got to win.
Yes, sir.
Just got to win.
All right, Jamey, appreciate the time here today as we do each and every end of our show. We'll give it to you. We say Flames and get the crowd response here. So go, Coach.
Flames.
One more time.
Flames.
All right, and appreciate the staff here at Mellow Mushroom here tonight for hosting us each and every Thursday night. Great show, great crowd here tonight as we wrap up our Liberty football show with head coach Jamey Chadwell, presented by Freedom First Credit Union. Remember, no show next week. Got the game on Thursday, but our next show back here October 12th. Put it on your refrigerator. We'll be here 7 o'clock next October 12th. That's after the Jacksonville State game. So enjoy the open weekend, watch a lot of football, and look forward to seeing everybody midweek on the mountain next Thursday at Williams Stadium. For the head coach of the Flames, Jamey Chadwell, and Carl Miller from Carl Miller Realty Team, my name is Alan York. Have a great rest of your night and weekend, and go Flames.
You've been listening to the Liberty Flames Football Show on the Liberty Flames Sports Network from Van Wagner. The Liberty Football Show was presented by Freedom First Credit Union. Start banking with Freedom First today. The Liberty Football Show was also brought to you by Carter Bank and Trust, the preferred community bank of Liberty Flames Athletics. Earthright Mid-Atlantic, your trusted solar and energy efficiency experts. By Foster Fuels, providing reliable service for 100 years. Freedom Heating and Air, serving those who serve us. Carl Miller Realty, caring, competent, trusted advisors. The North American Mission Board, learn to live your life on mission through a GenSend experience. And by Sentry Exteriors, experience and quality you can trust. Schedule a free estimate at sentryexteriors.com. The Liberty Flames Football Show, presented by Freedom First Credit Union, has been an exclusive presentation of the Liberty Flames Sports Network from Van Wagner.